25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday morning. Joe Reichel is in the studio from Damage Control Services. The phone lines are open. You can ask Joe some do-it-yourself questions. Maybe you've got your hammer, your wrench, and your glue, and you're just stuck. He said, now what do I do? And Joe will help you out with that if you call right now, 622-WOCA. And if it's just a little bit too big for you to handle, he'll also tell you what you can do at that point. And maybe actually had some damage, which is how this show actually started way back when, in the 50s, I think is when Joe Reichel started this show.
Way back when.
Good morning, Joe. How you doing?
Good.
Oh, did I give the number? 622-WOCA is the phone
Climate
number.
Control Source Hotline.
Exactly. Wow, that's good.
I try.
Just did it really well.
No, thank you.
Just didn't need me to do it anymore. I feel like the dad who his son finally can ride the bicycle without the training wheels.
Oh, did we just have a moment? I like it.
You just had a moment. I let go of the seat, and you went off on your own.
I like it.
I feel like I can just
You can let me
feel old now.
Kicking me out of the nest, huh, Dad?
So.
Anyway,
you don't ever have those moments.
Fires, floods, storm, tree damage. That's what we do.
But you don't ever have those moments where you've got the wrench, the screwdriver, the glue, the gook, and you're like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Occasionally, but typically, if I don't.
Forever.
Well, yeah, it's been a long time, and if I or someone on my team doesn't know what we're doing, we've got resources to ask.
Right.
I mean, really, the neat thing about it, I was looking the other day, just looking up some information, and we were talking about how there's a video on YouTube for everything.
Yeah, it seems like it, right? Right?
I mean, I like to wear bow ties, and we were talking about taking a regular tie and tying it as a bow tie. And that's one of the things that
really
Ken Davison does that. So I learned how to do it just by watching YouTube.
Okay.
So it's kind of neat to be able to.
Is it
to
very
do that.
large bow?
It's bigger than normal. A little bigger than normal. Seems
like it would be.
Yeah, it's like that wide.
Okay. And it sticks out and it's stiff like a bow tie.
Looks just like a bow tie.
Really?
A little bit bigger.
Is that photos on YouTube, on Facebook?
Yeah.
Of you?
Yeah.
With that? Okay.
Yeah. But, we were talking about, and pretty much what I'm saying is anything you need to be able to do, you can find it online.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's a little bit harder than what it looks like but, we were talking about doing something mechanically, and there's a video on YouTube of how to do whatever, change your oil, your spark plugs, or whatever it is. You can find pretty much a video or a how-to.
They make it look easy.
Right. And whether you want to do it or not, that's a whole different thing. And everybody has different ways of doing things. We've worked with different, people in the industry, different trades, and they've got, little tricks that they do, right. And you pick those up and go with it, or, incorporate it into yours in order to make your job a little bit easier. So.
But anything you took a crash course on that is repetitive, once you've learned it, you're better at it after the repetitive part.
I was talking to a friend of mine from Jacksonville, and he was talking this past weekend. He was talking about how he redid or enclosed his screen room, made it more of it was just an open air screen room, made it more of a Florida room. And he had to put these windows and doors in there, and he framed in the opening for the door, and he knew he had to have so much room and everything, and the way he did it wasn't exactly how it needed to be done, so he had to tear it all apart and do it again. And he said it wasn't until he went through it that he realized that, okay, now I did it wrong, I got to do it again. So, a lot of times that's the way construction projects are. There's so many steps to them that you need to be thinking about, how this is going to finish, how the trim is going to come into the door, how the drywall will, what the reveals are going to be, and making sure everything's all right. And that's where a lot of times, too, in construction, you'll see an opening where it's, the door trim, maybe the door is too close to the corner, so they have to cut the trim. You don't have a full, full reveal there. And, sometimes these are just poor planning, or, someone didn't really know what they were doing. Yeah, just, trying to do it. And
do you know what I've seen recently that seems like a risky thing for an amateur? instead of putting the window air conditioning units in windows, people are cutting holes in their walls. That looks like if you don't know what you're doing, you could really mess up bad.
You could mess up bad. And you need to frame that. If it's a wood frame structure, you need to frame it in correctly and make sure it's right. Some of them are built that way, and some AC units are built to go in walls. So, it can be done correctly, and that's the thing. It's as long as you know what you're doing. So.
Yeah. And again, it might be one of those projects that you start
right.
and then need to get some help with.
This is a little more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Or, you do it and then it's leaking or something like that. So.
Another one that you probably do this all the time is installing tile. Mm-hmm. People will say, "Oh, I can do this," and next thing you know, you run up against a round edge or a short piece, and how do you cut tile?
Well, we were talking about that the other day, and a lot of times it's those are the projects where I can do it. A homeowner says, "Yeah, I can do it," but it's not going to be as good, or I don't have the time, right. And doing tile work, for example, I used to do a lot of it. That's one of the first jobs I had.
Oh, really?
Doing commercial flooring, and I quickly realized that I didn't want to be on my knees, bent over on my knees, and just all the time. And that's where, really it started. I was like, I don't want to do this. And physically, laying tile is one of the hardest jobs. Just because you're on, bent over, lifting heavy things all the time, twisting and turning and.
I'm guessing roofing is similar.
Roofing is very similar. That's another job that is not fun physically.
Well, I hope those guys are paid well.
Sometimes. And that's a lot of that work, too, is piecework. So the more you do, the more you get paid. So
is there a tool to cut tile?
Well, there's lots of tools to cut tile.
And?
Well,
is it amateur friendly or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 4-inch grinder with a diamond blade.
Sounds like a sandwich.
Not that kind of grinder. A 4-inch grinder that you can pick them up at Lowe's, Home Depot. You can get a cheaper version at Harbor Freight. And just get a diamond wheel, and you can buy those at Lowe's and probably Harbor Freight as well. A diamond wheel blade to go on that grinder, and you'll be able to cut tile with that. So, and that's in they also have the wet saws, and and those have a diamond blade on them as well. So, but then there's the dry snap for tile that you can use, and it's just it has a diamond wheel, and you push it and
like a glass cutter.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like a glass cutter.
I've never actually used a glass cutter.
I've tried to use them.
Not easy, right?
No, they're not easy.
Yeah, I don't know how they're actually cut. I've seen my dad used to have them, and I couldn't.
I think it's a technique.
Anything. Yeah. We're almost out of time before we reach the midpoint of your show, but I want to encourage our listeners to call in. This is a great opportunity for you to pick Joe Reichel's brain and find out what you need to do to make that job you're trying to do a little bit easier for yourself. Or maybe you're married to the guy trying to do it, and you need some advice on who to call to rescue your husband, or vice versa. I don't mean to be sexist in my comments, but I often am.
Often?
Yeah, it seems like it. Unintentionally, sometimes. So what? Anything you're working on right now?
Well, today I've got a call. As soon as we get done here, there was a homeowner last week had a lightning hit their house and caused some damage.
Always lightning.
So I've got it this time of the year, yeah. So, and then last week we had several floods, that we were involved in, and this week there was a homeowner with an odor issue in a home, and
really?
A dead animal got between the first and second floors under the floor. So we've put our machines in there, but
in like the little space.
Yeah, between the roof of the first floor and the floor of the second floor.
Oh my goodness! What kind of animal?
Not sure.
You don't know.
Well, it's probably a rat or
mouse.
A squirrel or something like that.
A rotting mouse will smell really bad.
Yeah, it could be a mouse, squirrel, rat. It's hard to say.
Wow. And then finding it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to actually break open the floor?
Well, I mean, the odor will disappear in a couple days, so you have either the option of tearing it open and causing a mess and getting out immediately, but having construction to deal with, reconstruction, or you just put up with the smell a little bit. So.
Oh, really? And just live knowing that there's a skeleton between the floor and the ceiling.
There's lots of skeletons in homes. Lots of skeletons.
I've heard that. Usually in the closets.
Well,
right?
I mean,
Let's go to our break, and we'll come back. The phone line is open if you want to call Joe right now. The number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 352-622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Today, times of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm. The high 86 to 90. Partly cloudy tonight with a thunderstorm in spots. Low 71 to 75. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm in the area. High 88 to 92. And for Thursday, more the same. Intervals of clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm around. High 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
On Friday, July 25th, the Marion Dunn Masonic Lodge number 19 will again host its popular public open house event at the Lodge in Ocala from 6 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. The annual event is free and open to the public. The public is invited to attend a short program which will briefly look at Freemasonry and the rich 165-year history of Marion Dunn Masonic Lodge, the roots of Freemasonry and the impact it has upon the world, our nation, innovative medical research, childhood diseases, and our community will be presented. There will be no soliciting, and visitors should feel free to ask questions and look around undisturbed as they view the artifacts and the inside of the lodge. Plus, refreshments will be served. The address of the event is 1846 Southeast 36th Avenue in Ocala. If you'd like more information, give the lodge a call at 352-694-2461 or go on Facebook to Marion Dunn Masonic Lodge number 19. The public open house event is sponsored in part by BTB Contracting.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Today, times of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm. The high 86 to 90. Partly cloudy tonight with a thunderstorm in spots. Low 71 to 75. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm in the area. High 88 to 92. And for Thursday, more the same. Intervals of clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm around. High 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Men, do you know your testosterone level? Are you experiencing decreased energy levels or unusual sleeping problems? Have you noticed you have less strength or endurance, decreased sex drive, increased irritability or depression? If so, you may be experiencing problems with low testosterone. If you're interested in a free testosterone screening, please call Rinstar Medical Research at 352-629-5800. Again, that number is 352-629-5800.
Thank you, buddy. 12 minutes now before 11 o'clock. Let's return to Joe Reichel. And your phone calls are always welcome. The number 352-622-WOCA, the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. If you have a do-it-yourself home repair question, Joe can help you out with that. Do you have a lot of summer-related questions that you're getting right now, or is the humidity actually causing warping or anything?
Not so much that, but I mean, this time of year, a lot of people are concerned more with their insulation in their homes and things like that. We've got a job where raccoons got into an attic, and we're going in and replacing all the insulation that was damaged from them. So. Oh man.
So the animals are obviously a part of what you do. You just, in the last 10 minutes, 2 animals, one dead and one family.
Well, and that's, I mean, a lot of, if your home is not maintained.
We live in the country, basically, don't we?
Well, even in the city, you're going to have animals.
My guess.
Yeah. Even in the city, you're going to have animals. I'm telling you. Squirrels. Rats, those are in the cities as well.
Pigeons.
and even cats. A lot of times cats will cause problems with properties. So, if your trees aren't trimmed back, where the animals can get onto your roof easier, then up in your overhangs, things like that, they can get up into the attic. And I was talking to another homeowner yesterday that had the same exact problem with possums getting into her house. So,
Right.
You really, a lot of times, if you're not maintaining your house or there's ways for these animals to get onto the roof, they can get in easily.
Do you guys put locks in, or is that left to a locksmith?
We've changed locks out on houses and stuff. I mean, that's something we can do. But if you're wanting to get a lock rekeyed or something and not change the locks out, that's a locksmith.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah,
And we work with them too. So
have a new thing in the back now.
Right.
It looks like a more heavy duty thing.
Yep.
So people can't just turn it.
Just can't turn the knob and come on in.
It looks like it's stronger to me. I don't know
Right.
what I'm looking at. The opportunity for somebody to get something bigger into the house, then they have room in the doorway. For example, a piano or maybe a sunken bathtub or something like that. That requires cutting the whole wall open, right?
It really depends what it is, and being, able to figure out what it is, where it's going, and what you do. I mean, there's several times that, as far as remodeling projects, we've had to take a door out in order to make the opening big enough to get something in.
Just to do it, yeah. And I would imagine that would take expertise as well. Good morning. You're on the air with Joe Reichel. Thank you for calling and for waiting.
Kevin?
Go ahead. You want to speak to Joe?
Morning?
Good morning. How you doing? What did you want to ask Joe?
Joe, what's Joe doing now?
Are you listening to the radio?
Not really, I missed it.
Well, that's the whole problem there. You got to be listening to the radio.
Yeah, one of our jobs that we were called out on yesterday, there was a convenience store that was broken into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And damaged by the breaker inner?
Yep. They came in.
By the thief?
They got on the roof and moved the attic or the AC in order to come in the AC return.
Wow.
And then busted a hole in the roof and came in that way.
Good morning. You're on the air with Joe.
Yeah, good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
I'm listening and I'm paying attention.
I like it already.
Okay, very good. See, thinking about re-roofing, what is your take on, they say like you could have like a 40-year roof or a 20-year roof. Is there that much difference between the quality of roofing materials?
That is a great question, and yes, there is. In the Florida heat, despite what the warranty will tell you and what the manufacturers of these shingles will do, the actual lifespan typically of a roof, shingle roof, is about half of the amount. So if you are wanting to have 20 years or 25, even up to 30, you would want to put a 40-year shingle on the house. So that is a great question. A lot of times people don't really think it's that big of a deal, but those shingles are better quality. They're thicker. As far as as far as warranty wise go, and the life expectancy, it's a much better option. If you can afford it, I highly recommend going with the higher warranty shingles.
Okay, what is your thought on metal roofing?
I love it. Metal roofing is a great product. It's very good. I recommend it on a lot of applications just because with metal roofing, other than it oxidizing, that's where the paint kind of gets older looking and kind of grays. Other than that roof will last forever if it's installed correctly.
Could you say it's somewhat lightning proof?
I wouldn't say that just because lightning can strike anything and everywhere. If lightning was to strike a metal roof, it could still blow a hole in it. I mean, lightning's a very powerful thing. So I wouldn't say that it's lightning proof.
An asphalt roof, it's hard to imagine that, but that can actually burn, right?
Yes. If a fire gets hot enough, it will catch fire. But I mean,
that's where you're probably better off than with a metal roof, because at least that part won't burn.
Well, it will burn. A metal roof will actually melt in place. So, if it's hot enough, it will burn, and you will have a melted roof just the same. If it gets hot enough.
You come across a lot of people putting metal roofs on. It don't seem like it's all that popular down here.
There's several. There's not as, like you said, it's not as, it used to be a lot more popular in this area, and in Florida, as far as your old cracker style homes. And like everything, it goes through phases, and now seems to be everybody's into the, the shingle roofs and things like that. So. Yeah. But I mean, it's.
Speaking of old-fashioned homes and stuff, what about like the those ones that have that Spanish like a tile?
The Spanish tile, or the clay tile up there.
Right.
Yep, those are a good roof as well. They'll last a long time. A lot of nicer homes, more upscale homes have those, and they create a very nice look. Low maintenance on a home like that.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go that route, but I'm thinking of either going to the 40-year or maybe even metal. I don't know how much more it's going to cost than the conventional roof, but I'll be checking into it.
Well, I mean, they're all real nice roofs. So, I mean, it really depends on your budget, as well as the look that you want to get. And even with metal, there's different thicknesses of metal roof. So the thicker you go with the metal, the better quality it's going to give you there as well.
Right. It was interesting when you said that if you're putting on a 40-year roof that you highly advise, you're actually looking at about 20 years down here.
Well, you'll get a little more than that, but at that point's when you really want to start checking your roof and keeping an eye on it, because just with the heat, all the rain that we get, the exposure that your roof gets to the elements, you'll want to really start checking it and taking an eye on it.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, you have a great day. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
And could you paint the metal roof? Like, would white make it cooler in the house?
The older metal roofs, a lot of times we have been called out to, clients of ours, we've been called out to paint those. And it's a special sealer that you put on them. And, the older roofs, and they do that. The newer roofs, not so much. I mean, you can do it. But I mean, if it's a fairly new roof, there's not much care that needs done to it.
But is my assumption right? I mean, it's true for cars. A white car stays cooler than a black car. That kind of thing.
True. But I mean, really, your roof doesn't.
Nobody has a black roof anyway. I mean,
well, they have black metal. Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the orange roofs.
You can get almost any color of metal that you want.
Huh.
But there again, the importance is the insulation that you have in the home. Those are your things that are going to make the house even that much economically that much better. Your insulation, your windows, these things. If those are upgraded or you spend a little bit extra money on those whenever you're building a home, you're going to have a more economical house, one that's going to stay cooler when it's hot and stay warmer when it's cold. So.
I put up the video of when Joe Martone gave a tour of these studios that you guys built.
I noticed that. I was going to share it to our page, and I haven't got a chance to do that yet.
And it is really amazing. I kind of wish we had video of what it looked like before.
Right.
But for those needing somebody who has expertise in building, I mean, damage control guys are the guys, whether it's to fix something that's broken or to redo something or to start from scratch? I mean, you guys are the guys.
Well, as I'm working with a homeowner in Gainesville, he talked to him yesterday. He wants to do, basically a remodeling of his house. He wants to start with a master bathroom.
Okay. Good
one
place.
room at a time. We're going to work all the way through the house pretty much.
Oh, nice. And what's your phone number?
My phone number is 352-817-6574, and you can reach me at joe@damageflorida.com. That's my email.
Joe, it went too quick. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll take a little break. Be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Lillian Wu. A serious setback for the president's health care law. A federal appeals court ruling that tax subsidies for many low and middle income people who bought policies may not be provided in at least half of the states. If upheld, the decision could mean premium increases for more than 4 million Americans. This would affect people who bought their coverage through the federal insurance marketplace or exchange that serves 36 states. The journey home for many of the Malaysia air crash victims is underway. Remains moved out of rebel-held territory.
A Dutch plane is